Hi boys and girls, this is lesson 2.5, all about prime and composite numbers, and that is what you're going to learn about today, prime numbers and composite numbers. Make sure you have that written down in your notebook as well as today's date, and then you can come on back. So the first thing I want you to do is list all the factor pairs for these numbers. So write these numbers down in your notebook, write out beside them any old way you want, but then make yourself a nice list of the factor pairs for these numbers. And then after you do that, think about what you notice about the factor pairs in particular for 2, 5, and 11. Jot this stuff all down in your notebook. When you have that done, come on back and go on to the next screen. So here are the factor pairs for these numbers. For 2, it's 1 and 2. For 4, it's 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. For 5, it's 1 and 5. For 10, it's 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. For 11, it's 1 and 11. And for 16, it's 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. So what'd you notice about the factor pairs for 2, 5, and 11? Hopefully, you notice that each number has only 2 factors, the number and 1. Hopefully that's what you got. So I made myself a little chart here. You can make yourself this same chart. I think it will be handy for you if you go ahead and copy this into your notebook. So you've got the numbers with 2 factors on the left and the numbers with more than 2 factors on the right. And based on what we're going to learn here about prime and composite numbers, we're going to be able to put headings on those 2 columns in a second. So prime numbers are counting numbers greater than 1, because 1 is not considered prime or composite actually. So prime numbers are counting numbers greater than 1 that have exactly 2 different factors. So that's what a prime number is. One that has exactly 2 different factors. So if you look at our chart up above, on the left, that column would be considered prime numbers. Goodness, that's not written very neatly for you, sorry. And then on the right, composite, but let's look down at the bottom here at the definition of a composite number. So a composite number is a counting number greater than 1 that has more than 2 different factors. So we can see that this on the right is going to be our composite numbers. Hopefully you can write that neater in your notebook than I can write it on the screen. Okay, so I think that's helpful information for you to think about, prime numbers and composite numbers, and exactly what they are. You're going to use that information to help you complete this page in your math journal. So page 44 in your math journal is classifying numbers as prime or composite. It reminds you right on the page what prime numbers are and what composite numbers are. So you're first going to list the factors. If you need room to do factor rainbows, do that in your math journal. There's plenty of room in your math journal. In your math notebook rather. And then you can just make the actual factor list in your math journal on this page. And then after you've listed the factors, you need to put a P or a C. Is it P for prime or C for composite? Once you have that page completed, you're going to come back and check your answers on the next screen. And here we go. All right. You see that the majority of them are composite numbers, I hope. Prime numbers, the ones that only have the 2 factors. You should be able to quickly pick that out. And then when it asks you how many factors does each prime number have, you should definitely be able to say 2. And can a composite number have exactly 2? And the answer is no. Then it would be a prime number, right? Okay, great. Can't wait to see you in class. If you have questions about any of these things, make sure you make note of that so we can talk about it in the lesson.